All right. Looks like we're up. Good morning and just about afternoon, fellow Misfits. Look, I apologize for nothing. I am not feeling like running through all the other brew methods this morning to make my cup while I give you all a couple minutes to get on. So I'm pulling out one of our Nicaraguan ammo canisters, and I'm running straight with the Keurig today. This is the reason that we made these, is so that when you're not feeling well, because I know I'm not the only one feeling it with the allergies right now, you've got a way to get your coffee. While I'm brewing that, I really hope that y'all have had a good previous week. I hope that your weekend was restful. I know for us Misfits, we didn't do much of anything. We pretty much just hung out and just played some games, started trying to farm simulator, had a wonderful time at church on Sunday, just worshiping the Lord, and now we're back at it for our daily grind. That joke never gets old. I don't care what you say. So those of you who are jumping on now, we'll be giving you about 3 minutes or so, maybe 5 if I'm feeling generous. So go ahead and get on here for today's discussion. Now, like I was saying, going with the Keurig today, I'm not going through everything else with the specific grind and showing y'all how to brew it. You already know how to use Keurig. And so this is my lazy man's way of getting a high quality milk coffee. It's one of my favorite things that we have now, whereas I used to despise Keurigs. I now look forward to using my Keurig, and I look forward to getting the same taste out of my Keurig, just because it is so dang good out of here. Just what I needed. Like I was saying, leave something in the comments if you're feeling it too. I don't know how many of you are dealing with sinus issues, dealing with anything from allergies or whatnot. I know I've heard of a lot of people just feeling under the weather and being out. And we just want to let you know that here at Misfit Militia we sympathize and we feel it. I had a solid headache for about 14 hours at least yesterday. Finally did subside, praise the Lord. And now we're here bringing it to you live. Still congested, still a little little annoying to breathe, but not much I can do about that, huh? With that, we've now hit officially good afternoon. Giving y'all a couple minutes to get in. So before I jump into everything, as we always like to ask first and foremost, how was your week? How did everything go? Did y'all have a good week? Did y'all have a bad week? Was it kind of mediocre? Were there things, some good, some not? We genuinely do care, and that's why whenever we see y'all, the first thing we ask is, how you doing? What can we get for you? It's not a sales pitch. It's that we genuinely want to know that y'all are all doing all right. We know that things are hectic and stressful right now, and I know for us, there's not much better than walking into a place to see a friendly face that's smiling and genuinely wants to know how you're doing. So if you're around in the area today, come on and stop in. We'll still be open here till 4 o'clock. We'll be handling a business meeting or two after this, but otherwise we'll be here. Come on in, say hello, and if not, leave something in the comments. Just let us know how your week's been going. With that, we're going to go ahead and jump in to our Misfit Monday Debrief. I always imagined if this was pre-recorded, that would be one of those cool scene cuts, pop something up on the bottom of the screen, saying something, and then coming into the next frame. But we're not doing that. So just imagine all of that. Now we're going to get started. First and foremost, update on Misfit businesses. So as y'all can probably see, I am sporting the GG's Coffee Company mug. We were, as I'm sure y'all have already been made aware of, just through Facebook posts or word of mouth, they have officially stopped doing business. They have officially closed their doors. And why am I bringing it up now? Well, because this is, the joy of this, the joy that we get in working with small businesses is really met equally with the sadness that we get in finding out that someone's small business doesn't end up panning out, especially with someone like Gigi's. We got really close with the entire family, and we still are, and we will still be seeing them and happily bringing coffee to them. But it made us just as sad, and I guess it really, in my mind, rallied the thought of why we push y'all to buy from the small businesses that support us. Don't get us wrong, we love seeing y'all in the store here. We love being able to show off the roaster. sit and just talk coffee theory, theology, and we will come find y'all to do that as well, even if you can't get here. But when it comes to the business, we are supported by the businesses that support us. And the only way that we can give further support to those businesses is by encouraging y'all to buy everything from them. So this is where I want to do the, not even shameless plug, but just a direction for y'all to our Misfit Businesses page. Sorry, thought my camera stopped for a second. All good. Go to our Misfit Businesses page on misfitmilitiacoffee.com and just take a look. We keep that page updated as often as frequently as we need to make sure that y'all know where these businesses are. Best thing you can do, if you love our coffee, if you love what we're doing, you come see us, you want to continue to support, bring your business to those small businesses. Help them to stay in business, which helps us to stay in business in turn. Again, our hearts do break for BJ and his family who run Gigi's. We've had a wonderful relationship with them, even on the personal level as friends. And so I did want to dedicate a little bit of this to them. They will still, whether the building is open or not, they will always stand as one of our first OG original clients. So it's, homage to them. And sorry, we are not letting go of this mug because now it has even more of a sentimental value. On to the other Misfit businesses as well. Next Level Nutrition, I'm sure y'all have already seen it, that they've officially we've announced our partnership with them. The Next Level out in Brownsville is now using our product, and I've already heard feedback that they're doing it perfectly out there. I know they've gone through quite a bit of coffee already. I know that Brownsville, y'all were waiting for them to start this, which really excites us to hear. That's when we first started talking with them, that was the cool thing, was that he knew exactly what he needed, he knew how he wanted to get it, and he just wanted some input on how to get there. And so it's been wonderful working with Larry out there so far. Just complete down-to-earth gentleman out there. And so if you go out and talk with him, you will not be disappointed. So another place for you to get our coffee brewed. That is what they currently offer. They offer through a Keurig, trusty devices as we have them around, as you see me surrounded by them. They serve our coffee and our espresso through a Keurig. And they'll even mix them up for you. So they'll give you espresso shots. They'll mix in things that you want. And Larry out there has a good eye for pairing flavors, it seems. That's the thing I've heard already, is that he knows how to take the flavor notes that we roast to achieve and pair them with things that he already has in the nutrition store. So again, everything nutrition there. Now they've just got a bit more caffeine with all of the offerings. So that's definitely something that y'all are going to want to go check out. Like I said, they'll be getting more from us. So just go have at it. Drink it all up and enjoy. Second bit we want to touch on for debriefing from the previous week. Y'all may have noticed the coffee cart was not out this week, and it was not out today. Everything's fine with the coffee cart, but praise God for the demand y'all have given. We have had so much that we've had to roast these last 2 weeks that just keeps disappearing. That I've been needing the mornings to roast. And so we have kept Misfit HQ, where we are now, open during the mornings, opening right about 6 o'clock. And we keep it open as often as I don't have to run out. If you ever can't get coffee back here, you can go up to West Tennessee Vapors, who we're attached to here in Dyersburg. And they've got all of our coffee offerings. They can even brew you up a cup. But come on by, come get our coffee from here. And we will have the cart back out more. The cold weather is going to make it a little easier to set up in here once it starts to snow, which, I don't know, leave a comment where you stand. I'm pretty excited for the snow. I won't be after we get the first or second fall, just because then it's always fun to, as our parents always said as kids, I'm not worried about you driving. I'm worried about the drivers on the road around you driving. So that's always fun to navigate, but I'm still excited for the first snowfall. Let me know if you are, if you're not. And our recommendation is that you go with the dark roast for that. Why? Something about a dark warm roast like our Sulawesi is just spot on. On that note, next thing we want to cover for our debrief is roasts coming in and out, which I know we keep teasing y'all with, hey, we got some coming up, we've got some in boxes, they're waiting for y'all. Well, we're there. we have officially finished the last full roast that we can do for Sulawesi. We may be trying, if y'all come in and ask, we might be trying our own blends that isn't officially going to hit shelves, between, I don't know, some Indonesian roasts that y'all have liked, from the beans we have left. But as far as full bags, our 50 AE will be cycling to another bean, and that will be the Bali roast, also from Indonesia. We will be experimenting with that probably tomorrow morning, afternoon, if not tonight. So y'all will be seeing that by the end of the week. I believe we'll have that out. And I'm not expecting the Sulawesi we have left. I keep glancing over here because we've got one full bag, one full cartridge box on the shelves. We've got a little bit more in the stores in the back. Outside of that, you'll have to. I think the only people currently holding Sulawesi would be all 3 West Tennessee Vapors locations: Dyersburg, Brownsville, Jackson, and then Next Level Nutrition. I know still has some Sulawesi cartridges that they're brewing up. They may have run out by the time I said this, who knows? But there aren't many of them left. So, point being, if you want your Sulawesi, you better come get it. There is no whole bean available anymore because the rest of it has been used for grinding purposes. So, if you're looking for grounds or cartridges, come get them while they last. They won't be here too much longer. But we are really excited for that roast from Bali. I personally think, after seeing how the Sulawesi went, I think that one's going to be pretty fantastic. So I'll let y'all be the judge, but come on in and ask us about that little side thing I just mentioned about another, possible blend, and maybe I'll get to try some of that too. So outside of that, real quick before we dive in too much further, I want to give a shout out to our partners over at Planetary Design. I've got the last 2 colors that we have of the 24-ounce Overlander travel French presses. Again, they all come equipped with the same backing plate over the mesh for your French press, which, as you've heard me say ad nauseum, makes all the difference when you're traveling. So definitely come on in and get that. Now, I'm going to let y'all in on something. I just saw a customer pull up. I may need to step aside and let them know that they will have to come back. But we've often talked about this, about what would happen if a customer pulled up in the middle of a live. I really like just kind of rolling with stuff. So what I may do is, I don't know, but we'll see when they come to the door. But until then, y'all can hold on. Let's see. Hold on 1 second, folks. Not gonna lie, the main reason I got up is because I like leaving things raw. This is by no means set out in stone perfect. We like to just do this as misfits. We get it going, we make the quality well, we have good jokes along the way. So with that holding, well, thank you, Princess Magpul, for holding. But now we are back. On that note, so shout out to Planetary Design. If you haven't got one of their mugs yet, come on in and get it. They're wonderful. We've got different sizes. We've got different perks that come with each size. The 16-ounce, the storage on the bottom. The 24-ounce Overlander, you can unscrew the base and ditch your grounds after you're done. And then the 48-ounce is just a 48-ounce French press. There's not really much more to say to sell that, because if you know anything about using French presses, if you've used one or seen one used, you don't typically see them that big. Nevertheless, double wall insulated, stainless steel. So, stainless steel. That's not how that goes, but that's how we're saying it. Next, I wanted to recap before we jump into the main discussion for today. Y'all saw kind of last minute, we had our legislative coffee event. In case y'all weren't sure what that was, because I know not everybody around Dyersburg is necessarily familiar with them. It's basically just political representatives coming into town and answering questions from the people, from you, the people, and from if you didn't show up, you really should. Now, don't get me wrong, we understand that attending these meetings isn't groundbreaking. We're not expecting massive amounts of change to happen, but if we are doing our duty as American citizens, we're showing up to these events and asking questions and getting, or at the very least, getting a feel for what's going on. We just like to stand behind the constant saying that we put on the back of every bag, and on the back of every cartridge box of your full bag and 12 count boxes that states that we can start with over a good cup of coffee and conversation, and then get to the difficult things. And so that's exactly why we wanted to work with Dyer County Chamber to be catering for that event. The biggest thing that us Misfits want to state that we want to state and back, something that, man, I was itching to scream it out, and I did not just out of respect for the person who was speaking, but we here at Misfit Militia, and whether you want to hear the political stuff or not, if you know us by now, you know this goes hand in hand with our business. Our business was given to us by God as a platform, and so we're going to use it as such. Safest place for your child, where they should be throughout the day, with everything going on in the world. That was something that someone alluded to, and we cannot stress enough, God designed the family for a reason. He designed the way he did for a reason. He has given mothers, he's given women the incredible ability to nurture and foster love and all of that with their kids. And so if someone were to say that school is the safest place that a kid could be, that really couldn't be farther from the truth. And I would say that's a matter of our opinion, but we understand this is by God's design. You know, when you're talking about your kids, the best thing that you can be doing for them really is schooling them yourselves. That way there's no, I'm just going to not say it, there's no indoctrination. No one's telling your child how to think. No one is counteracting what you've taught your children. And so that was the biggest thing that I think we pulled from it, was just the reinforcement of our stance that we stand firm on the thought that God has designed the family for the mother and the father to in tandem teach the kids. And so that's where we stand. If you want to talk about that more, come on over. We slung out 35 cups for free, which I just like counting, because if you think about that, we did all them through Keurigs, so that was pretty busy. Looking over at this, appreciate y'all both. Appreciate you both. We really couldn't stand behind all that enough. It just, man, I'm gonna take one more minute here just to touch on this a little more, because it just, you know, in line with our statement about defense for the home. You know, if y'all have spoken to Mad Chancellor for even 2 seconds, if you've spoken to Princess Magpul for even 2 seconds, or even myself for that matter, you see the firmness with which we talk about defending the family. But that's not strictly physical. There's a physical defense, there's an emotional defense, there's a spiritual defense. And as Christians, we're called to these things for our families. And that's why we stand on the premise of children being taught in the home. So, just want to throw that back out there. Now, y'all saw, or maybe you didn't, because you might have just jumped in, but you see that we used the fancy dancy Keurig, as we love. That's what I was using to brew the coffee that I just had. Now, I know someone out there is asking, well, why is there a Keurig blocking the one that you used? That's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking. I can see it in the comments. No, I can't. The reason I'm not using this one is because I want to use this one to demonstrate something for y'all. Leave a drop in the comments, or come and just tell us in person. How many of y'all have your coffee that you love, or that you think you love, and you brew it in a Keurig, and you like the convenience factor. You know what it tastes like. It's the same every time. You drop it in one morning, you brew it, it doesn't quite taste right. How many of y'all have had that happen? Because I know it's not just us. I've spoken to countless of you who have had the same issue of Keurigs just not quite tasting right. So what are you supposed to do when your coffee just doesn't taste right? Maybe it's not a Keurig. Maybe you're using a drip pot, or even some of the other stuff, maybe with a French press. What do you do when your coffee doesn't taste right? That's our focus for today. We want to walk through just a couple things to give you all some guidance, and feel free to come in and ask any of the three of us for more information throughout the week. But this is just a little breakdown for y'all. So, and this Keurig will be demonstrating, and you'll see why. So, this is where I wish I had the flash bars up at the bottom of the screen, because this would be reason number one. You might be using the wrong coffee. Are you using our coffee? Just saying, it makes a huge difference. The one thing I will say that Mad Chancellor surprised me with was how good we could get our Keurig cartridges to taste. And so if you live and die by your Keurig, and or even your drip pot, honestly. If you're not sold on the way your coffee tastes, you think it tastes funky, and you're watching this live stream, chances are you've tried our coffee, and the reason your coffee tastes funky is because of the burnt, just in general, lower quality due to mass production taste of the coffee that you're getting. So if something's wrong with your coffee, first thing I would do is check, look at your coffee, look at your cup, and say, this doesn't say Misfit Militia. I'm not filming this, but chuck it. Second thing you want to check for, water quality. So what kind of water are you using? I've spoken to plenty of people about this. The type of water that you use to brew your coffee matters, and that's Keurig, French press, pour over, everything in between. If you're pulling tap water, don't think I really have to tell anybody that our tap water here in Dyersburg is the best. Most places that I've lived, the tap water hasn't been exactly the greatest. You can smell it coming out of the faucet. That's a problem. So if you're using that to brew your coffee, the steps I'm going to be talking about after this one on how to assess quality of your coffee, there we go, you're going to want to take them now, because using tap water, using just low-grade water, even distilled, I'm not as big of a fan of for my brewing processes. If you're using either of them, you're going to want to flush them out of your lines for your drip pot, for your Keurig, and you'll want to not be using them for your French press and pour over. Why? Because there is a taste that goes with that quality of water, and it does not mix well with coffee. If y'all want to try it, you bring water up and I'll bring water up, and we can both brew them right here in Misfit HQ, and we can test it. And if not, I'll drink my words. Real quick, just looking in. We saw you pull up, Eddie. We definitely got a cup for you. I almost unlocked the door. Next time I see you pull up, I certainly will. Nick, yeah, we appreciate that. This is why y'all are our Misfits, because we understand that you're holding these values. We want to be the podium to be able to speak out on them for. So back to the water quality. So we've addressed using the right coffee. We've addressed using good water quality. So now what? I want to focus a little more specifically on Keurigs, and this does branch over to drip pots as well. Because with the other stuff, your French presses, your pour overs, all you got to worry about from there is if your water quality is good, your coffee's good, make sure there's no soap residue built up in anything. For any aluminum, like your cafetieras, your mocha pots, as we call them here. If you've got them, don't wash them with soap and water. Aluminum's very porous. It'll take that taste in. You'll never get it out. Just use on glassware. Obviously, soap and water is fine. But I don't prefer to my own, I'm talking personal here. Nobody go crazy over germs or whatever. But my personal French press, my personal pour over, I prefer to clean at the time I've used it with hot water. Maybe a small touch of soap, because I don't like the contamination of stuff getting in and ruining the taste of the coffee. I've been doing it for years. It's all good. But for your Keurigs, we're going to talk about a descaling process, which now I will say quickly that this is... Oh no, you're still here. Well, Eddie, I'll tell you what, since you're still out here, go ahead and drop in the comments, and I'm sure everyone will love this. Go ahead and drop in the comments what kind of coffee you're looking for. Which roast you want. I'll go ahead and brew it up and run it right out to you. I've already told everybody I'm willing to get up and run out, so you go ahead and do that, and I will brew you a cup with the freshly descaled Keurig that we've got running, not the one I'm about to descale. So first things first, why do I have this Keurig still unplugged? Power is a big issue for Keurigs. You'll notice if you plug in 2 or 3 Keurigs and run them all at the same time versus running one alone, the taste will be different. Keurigs pull a lot of watts. You're talking, we've seen anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 watts in the brewing process. It's all for heating up that water. So first and foremost, make sure your circuit can handle 1 or 2 Keurigs that you're trying to run on. If not, run one at a time. Or you may need to fix something. 45 ACP is what we're looking for. All right, y'all, we're brewing live. I hope someone got that reference. If so, props to you. So, as I was saying, so we want to be watching the wattage, which is why right now, while I'm brewing with this Keurig in the back, this one's not plugged in. when I show you the descale process that I'm about to walk through to make sure you get the funky taste out of your coffee that is coming from calcium buildup in the Keurig in those pump lines. I'm keeping this one unplugged till this one's done. Once this one's done, I will plug this one in. I've personally run 2 Keurigs on the same line before. I just prefer not to if I don't have to, just because of that water draw. Y'all are cracking me up. Eddie, man, if you wanted to come in here and join, I wouldn't mind at all. If you got the time, you come on in. Because that's, again, this is, we don't do this for perfection. We do this as a of, by, and for the people. So if you're there, you want to come in, and if you want to come in and talk, by all means, you can come in and sit, and you can actually tell them if I have a bunch of green screens and plans up, or if this really is just as plain Jane as I'm saying it is, since it is. Alright, well, I'm bringing coffee to you, and if you decide you want to come on in, Eddie, by all means. Hold for 2 seconds, Misfits. Yeah, by all means. Come on in. Alright, so we are back, Misfits. We appreciate you hanging in there with us. So we got Eddie here hanging out with us, and you may be able to hear him, you may not. Well, you should be able to hear him.
I mean, I'm fairly loud, so.
Again, why do we do this? Because this is not staged. We don't run this as a thing of, it's got to be perfect production. This is for you, the people. If you, the people, want to come in and chat, you come in and chat. You want to lean in and say hello?
Hey, I told you I was really big.
Alright, so we're walking everybody, as you heard, through descaling the Keurig. One of the biggest issues that we have found when we talk to people is that they're either, they're brewing with their Keurig over and over again.
Right.
And then at some point the taste falls off. And so the thing we're discussing now is what we do to fix that. And one of the biggest things that I can recommend, because we now offer a service where we will descale your Keurig for you. However, you don't have to use us. White vinegar and water. Why are we telling you this? Because this isn't about us making money. If you're supporting us buying coffee, you're supporting us buying coffee. We're more than happy.
It's really good coffee too.
Appreciate it. We are all about teaching y'all in the same way that we strive to down the road be teaching y'all, Mad Chaz are teaching things for firearms instruction and all things along what helps your quality of life just be better in general and you being self-sufficient. We want y'all to know how to do these things, and so I can walk you through a more in-depth thing in the future, but for now, let's do a quick run through on the descale process. This descale won't finish fully by the time we get off this live, and that's okay. I just want to make sure that y'all have the basics, even with a $55 Keurig. So what we're going to do, Eddie, have you done this before?
No.
No? How long you have a Keurig?
I don't.
You don't?
I had one, but then the taste started being bad, and then one day it just straight up dumped nasty white chunks. It looked like mold and stuff like that in it. And we took the Keurig and threw it away because we didn't know.
Nope.
And it was gross. It was gross.
And we've seen those white chunks before.
Mm-hmm.
It's calcium buildup. The water that you're using over time, as it keeps brewing through the lines, you get calcium deposits built up inside of the hosing, which is why we use distilled white vinegar. Now, we've tried cleaning vinegar. It's not that it doesn't work. It just leaves a slightly different taste afterwards. It's a little And this is only we did it once, but I felt like it was harder to wash out of the Keurig.
Okay.
But what we do is you take your water reservoir. Now, if you can get a separate one, that's cool, but you don't have to because you're putting vinegar in it. By the time you run all the water through, it cleans it. Rather than having to throw your Keurig out, fill your reservoir halfway up with water, fill it the rest of the way with white vinegar. Now, this is a smaller reservoir. I'll do the whole thing. If you've got a bigger reservoir like the one we have on the Honkin' Mamma Jamma back here, I'll only go up to about half of that.
Okay.
Because you don't, I mean, white vinegar still costs money. We don't need to be burning through it like crazy. And as long as you're brewing on a routine, descaling on a routine basis, it doesn't take a lot.
Right.
It really doesn't. This one I haven't descaled in a bit because I've just been spoiled using this one. So I'm going ahead and filling up the whole thing. But it hasn't been that long, even still. This one was still only about 2-3 months ago, but I only use it for my own purposes. So that's why, whereas this one, we descale ours for the people about once a month, if not more, just because the amount of use we have, bringing it out, bringing it back in, we make sure that we have the cleanest Keurigs in America.
Right. You want your product to be good.
Exactly. So what we're going to do
here...
It
is
good. Again, we appreciate it, which honest feedback is the best thing we can have. And when someone really likes it, that makes us excited.
Yeah. I don't like black coffee. Like, I just say, I love sweet stuff. This is the best cup of black coffee I've literally ever had. And that's not paid. That's just, and like I said, I've always drank, diabetic warm milkshake. And to go to a black cup of coffee is, that's night and day.
Right, and hey, and if you think it is a paid thing and you want to come in and tell us the coffee's bad, I'll let you in. Come on and let us know what's wrong with the coffee. We love feedback. Even some of y'all watching right now have given very honest feedbacks of, hey, this didn't taste right. Hey, something's off with this. That's how we adjust and make the coffee tailored to you. So with a lot of these Keurigs, you'll always see some kind of descale button. Ours is down here. It's typically right around the add water button. With this particular model, one of the number one things you gotta watch is that you don't try to brew from a Keurig without the reservoir on. If you hit brew and pull the reservoir off, it seems like it still tries to brew. At least it did for this one. And it ended up shorting out, and we had to open the whole thing and basically untrip it because it tripped its own internal temperature breaker. For this particular Keurig, you hit the power button to turn it off. You hold your 6 and 10 ounce down, and then your 8 ounce will start to flash, which I believe y'all can see that. Let me move my hand just in case you can't. Once that's flashing, that's entered descale mode. Now, like I said, fill your reservoir half water, half distilled white vinegar. You're not going to put any cartridge in here because you're just running water through it. Open, close, hit. And you're just going to keep brewing that. Now, the way that I like to do it, just to make sure that there's diluted white vinegar sitting in the line, I'll brew about 2 cups and then let it sit for like 20 minutes. Let that white vinegar do its work of breaking the calcium deposit off of the ID walls of your tube. You can smell the vinegar too. That's why you definitely got to be ready for the smell of it. I'm kind of desensitized to it at this point.
I work at a barbecue restaurant. We mess with vinegar all the time.
You're more than used to, more than I am, then. But you'll do that a couple times. Let it sit in the line. Then go ahead, brew the whole thing out. Now, when I get to a little bit left under the minimum where it says fill, I'll typically top it off with enough water to brew once more. Then empty your reservoir. Fill it with, make sure there's no vinegar small left in it. Rinse it out. Put fresh water behind it. Again, good water. You want to be doing spring, or you could do purified. But I don't like distilled water. Definitely not tap water. Well water. Well water's great. Right? I guess it'll kind of depend on your area. I personally haven't gotten to try with well water. But you'll go ahead and do this. Run through after you refill it and go all the way through, and then the vinegar taste should be out. If not, keep brewing until the vinegar taste is gone. With this particular Keurig, it's gonna stay flashing until it thinks I have finished the descale. Much like the government, it wants to tell me how I'm supposed to do it. Now, that's why I typically don't jump into the descale mode unless I really want to remove that annoying descale light. But even like the golden Keurig, we descale before it ever even gets to that point. So if you stay ahead of the descale light, I know they recommend every 6 months. I would recommend bare minimum every 3 months. And again, we will come out and descale it for you. You can bring it to us, or we'll drive to you. And we'll keep your Keurigs tip-top shape for you. $20 for a descale. Which, I mean, we're not we're not trying to pull a crazy profit off it. It's just some people don't have the time, and I get that.
Yeah.
I've run out of time many a time where I'm up here, I'm up here, Matt Chazler's up here, Princess Magpul's up here. We'll be here till about 11 o'clock. Just, oh, shoot, we forgot to descale one of the Keurigs, and someone's running through with it. So we're showing you this so that you'll be a little more prepared going forward, because again, you can get great coffee, you can use great water, but if your Keurig's dirty and it's got all that calcium buildup, it's not going to brew at the right speed. If you don't have proper wattage, it won't brew at the right temperature. And then your coffee, even though it's great coffee, what comes out, your delicious coffee juice won't be delicious. So that's just something we always watch. And if you got any more questions on it, come find us. If you don't feel like descaling it, come find us. Whatever y'all are looking for, we can definitely help. We've spent a lot of time with these. We've torn them apart. We've worked a lot with the Keurigs. So any questions y'all got, you come find us. What do you think? You got any questions?
I mean, so he's done it one time. We just watched him do it, and I don't know. Y'all probably couldn't see the cup, the water or the vinegar that's left in there without it being. But it is. I mean, it's brown. It's definitely not something you would want to drink, and not something that you would.
No.
That. Yeah, I mean, it's like.
You can kind of see the color of that right there. So it definitely pulls stuff out for sure. I'm using this for contrast, but that's a good point. Mm-hmm. It really does. It pulls. You can see it pulling right out from the start, and again that smell lets you know it's working. Mm-hmm. You can really smell the vinegar. That's also how you gauge when you're done. Because I'll typically, when I'm brewing the last couple cups, pull up to the nose, sniff. Okay, slight amount of vinegar, brew another cup. All right, this is okay. I'll go as far as to taste the hot water.
Right.
And make sure that it tastes like hot water. If it tastes like spicy hot water, it's probably got vinegar in it.
Gotta watch out for the spicy hot water.
Gotta watch out for the spicy hot water. Alright, but I think that pretty much wraps things up. I mean, Eddie, thanks for coming on in.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
And thank you for waiting.
Yeah, no problem.
It's I thought about yelling something through the door. Again, we've talked about if this were to happen. I never really knew what I'd do. So, glad to have you on with us. And
glad to be your guinea pig. I mean, I got a cup of coffee out of it, so I'm real happy.
There you go.
I feel like I came ahead, so.
Right? I got one too, but I guess it's not quite the same.
Still a good cup of coffee, regardless.
You're right about that. I went with the Nicaraguan, you went the Guatemalan. Both phenomenal choices. I'm feeling with all the sinus stuff, I was really feeling medium roast, so that's where I went. But with that, I think we've covered pretty much everything. We've told y'all once again about the wonderful planetary design stuff. We've talked a bit about descaling. Again, you're just running distilled white vinegar and water through your system. Talked about our events from last week. We talked about the Bali roast that we'll be introducing. We definitely still want y'all to remember GG's. If you happen to see any of them, just thank them for the commitment that they gave to the community for the years that they were running. Because, again, it was a phenomenal coffee shop. So, with all that being said, live from Misfit HQ, we got Eddie here with me. I'm Big Bad Jon, and I guess there's nothing left to do but to stay safe, stay free, and stay caffeinated, Misfits.